Hello everybody, alright, it is time for the Celeste All Red Berries run by Swesie. Take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Swesie and it's my absolute pleasure to bring you the All Red Berries category of Celeste. Now for those who don't know, Celeste is a precision platformer about climbing a mountain, and especially when it comes to the All Red Berries category, this journey up the mountain can be quite long and dangerous. Luckily for me, I have a wonderful commentator with me to help, so want to introduce yourself?
Hey, how's it going? I'm TGH. I speedrun this game for a few years, from the time it came out to about the beginning of last year.
Yeah. And I think there's not much more not much more that needs to be said. I just want to double check who won the bid war between the characters.
And having a look here, just one quick refresh, it is fairly certain that we are playing as Badeline.
Fantastic. So also, for those who don't know about that, there is a variant mode that has a lot of different options for the game changes for the game. One of them being that you can play as the other self Badeline. I think that is about all we need to go through before starting to run. So let's get this show on the road in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so I guess now's my cue to give a little bit of a movement like briefing of this game. So there's a lot of different movement tech in this game. You're seeing some of it right here. So jumping is actually faster when you can't dash yet, but you have the climb technique. So like you can grab and you can climb the walls up as you're grabbing. That's the basic stuff. But now we're gonna get a dash at the end of this bridge as Madeline falls, but then sort of like is realized with the ability to dash. So you can use this dash to do a lot of different things. You can dash and jump to cancel the dash, which gives you like basically a long jump. We call this a super jump or just a dash cancel. You'll see this as like one of the main movement techs of the run. And we can also sort of do an extended version of that by delaying the jump input a little bit. After that, however, we have something called a Hyperdash, which is a faster version of that, which you get by holding a diagonal instead. There are a lot of different sort of other things you can do with the different movement tech in this run, and we'll get to that when we see it, basically. But this is the All Red Berries category, and we're going to be collecting all 175 berries in this run. Which means we are going to be doing the extra post-game chapter as well, called the Core, or Chapter 8A. And yeah, that's basically all I can give you about the movement right now. There are other things like for instance corner boosts and maybe some ultra dashes here and there, but once again we will get to those when we come to them.
Yeah.
That's another thing right there. City actually does a really good job of sort of displaying like a lot of this movement tech. So on your screen transitions, you'll see your dash actually get refilled. That is going to be very useful throughout the run, especially in chapters like this and in chapter 3A as well, especially the very beginning. Excuse me. So yeah, as we're getting the berries, we actually need to unlock the core. So we need at least 4 of these crystal hearts. There's one right there, which we actually had to input a code to get. So as for the collection of berries themselves, the collections of berries, basically, so there's a little bit of a risk-reward factor in how berries are actually collected. So you have 9 frames on the ground before a berry actually gets collected. So whether or not you want to spend those 9 frames to collect the berry or not, or that was actually real close right there. It's like, for instance, right there, that actually could have ended very badly. However, Swesie knows what they're doing, so.
Hopefully. Yeah, because this is a marathon as well, I'm gonna be very safe. Whenever there is a risk of me dying with a berry, like an appropriate risk, I guess, I'm gonna just not even bother with the risk because I don't want to have to restart things because that'll not be very entertaining for you nor me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Since this is a marathon, if you do lose a berry, there are a lot of different situations where it is either impossible or just very disadvantageous to go back and collect that berry again. So
Yeah.
That was actually a really nice little strat there. So right there, we'll come across this later, but that was actually something called a demo dash that was canceled into a Hyperdash off the platform. Demo dash is basically a straightforward dash, either to the right or to the left. They're also diagonals, but I'm not sure how much those come into play this run. But
I think I do one.
But yeah, basically it is a dash with a crouched property, which also gives you a hyper dash if you cancel it. That'll also come into play in chapter 3 as well. But yeah, I'm winded.
Yeah, I can talk for a little bit as well. So that was city. That was a pretty good city as well. Now we're coming to old side, and now we're gonna immediately. This is probably the best showcase of the whole screen transitions give you dashes back, because to get the heart in this chapter, you need to use that technique quite often here to get all the way up to where the heart is. Hopefully I can do this in just this one. Yeah, okay, cool. And also hearts are collected like immediately when the text comes up, so there. And then I can restart chapter to start over immediately from the start of the chapter. And you see these blocks that I just passed by? Those are what's called dream blocks, and after I've activated them in just a second here, I can actually dash all the way through them and get quite a lot of speed doing that. I can also jump and even hyperdash out of these blocks by jumping slightly after exiting, which will be very useful, especially when we come later in the game. It's also going to be used a couple times here to get a bit of speed. You can also double jump out of it, which is interesting. Also, here's the first. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this game is all about building and preserving speed, as Swesie has done a really good job showcasing, as well as just kind of not dying, which Swesie has not done a very good job at showcasing. Because, yeah, so you can die in this game, contrary to what Swesie has showcased so far. Sort of a did you know section. You can die.
Quite a lot and quite easily. Speaking of which, I'm also gonna donate 50 cents per death I have, because I'm expecting about between 6 and 100 generally where I am. So in order to make myself able to live on more than a single noodle, I'm gonna do 50 cents per death.
Yeah, this game does get it gets more difficult as it goes.
Yeah. And there's also quite a few. Yeah, exactly. There's quite a few intentional. Yeah. Not quite sure how many there are, but I think there's like 10 or 15 maybe. I honestly haven't counted them, which I probably should have done. Oh well. So now we're getting chased by our actual self, because we're also badlined. And this section is, there's a chase where everything that you do, the badline clones will mimic with a couple seconds delay. So as long as you go fast, it's usually not a problem. There are some sections like right here coming up where you have to kind of go against them and hope that you can outspeed them going back and forth. And some pretty neat strats here. I like a lot. Also, there's a dev invented a little shortcut there, which is cool.
Yep. So there are also a lot of situations where you need to collect the coins to make a block move to sort of like open your way forward as well. One thing that we're about to see right here too, as well, is something called I call it a wall bounce. A lot of other people call it a vertical hyper, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it is the act of dashing up alongside a wall, and then from that wall, you can jump, and it'll give you an extra sort of an extra distance and speed moving upward along said wall. So
yeah, I like to think of it as it's basically just doing a hyperdash, but doing it upwards next to a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
More or less how it works, at least. Now we're almost done here. We're at the wake section because it was all a dream. I don't know if you could have guessed that by them being called dream blocks. Here we're gonna do a little split. Nope, never mind. Let's try it again.
This is a hard strat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the object is to jump off of that corner right there, in between the spikes.
I've been so consistent when I practice. No. Stop. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
I was scared of that. I've been really consistent practicing, but it's one of those tricks where just like, when it comes to it, it's just not gonna work.
Oh yeah.
All right.
This game is full of those. For charity.
Or chair, exactly. That was both RMG manipulation and making me donate some money. That's all it was.
Alright, so just like that, that is the first 2 chapters done. And now we're moving on to chapter 3A, the resort chapter. Celestial Resort.
Yeah. This is probably the first major hurdle for when you're learning speed on this game, because it's a lot about cycles, and cycles are annoying. Each room has its own like local cycle, and there's also slightly different cycle if you enter the room versus if you have died in the room, meaning that sometimes you have to learn 2 different cycles depending on how the room. I didn't get the cutscene started.
Oh, you overshot it.
Yeah. So these are. Oh, whoops. Here's the death cycle. That's what I wanted to show. Go for that.
Just a demonstration.
Here I'm going to try for a really dumb trick. As we mentioned before, there's something called demo dashes, which is doing a dash with a crouch hitbox, and I didn't immediately fail it. Hey, hello? There again. The crouch hitbox is 4 pixels, which is also the distance between these dust bunnies here, and you can do that.
There you go.
That was not too bad. 4 tries, sure.
Yeah, that's really hard.
I'll take it.
By the way,
that particular one is pixel perfect and has no setup. I'm just throwing my head at it, basically hoping it'll work. But it's cool. There are a couple strats with demo dashes through spikes in both 90% and R-Bears. In R-Bears, there's like, I think there's just the one more in this chapter later. I don't think I do anymore. I honestly don't even remember.
Yeah, ARB doesn't do the typical 3A demo, right?
Yeah, no. So,
yeah, there is one more though that I know you attempt. So
yeah.
Nice bunny hop there. That was actually super tight.
Yeah, that one.
That bunny hop is really hard to do.
I don't like that one. It's so annoying. Yeah, there's also coyote frames in this game, which is also an important concept. Basically, whenever you leave a surface, you have a couple more frames. I don't know exactly know the number, but a little bit more time after you leave it to jump or to dash. And that's basically what I used there to be able to get a jump slightly off the. That's not good. Slightly off the edge of that platform to get enough
I'm pretty
speed
sure the
behind.
I'm pretty sure the coyote time is 5 frames.
All right, I'll believe that.
Yeah, so 5 frames after you leave an edge, you have a bit of a grace period to jump. That's basically all that means.
A very nice thing for being. Whilst this game is really hard, it has a lot of mechanics in place that like help mitigate some of the difficulty in a like not direct way, if that makes sense. Was a weird way of explaining that, but
it's a very hard but fair game as well.
Yes.
Like it feels very fair. Like you're in total control, but the obstacles are the hard part, not the controls themselves.
exactly.
Shout outs to EXOK Games
Yeah,
as well
absolutely.
for making this.
This game
Maddie
has
and Noel.
meant just so much to me, and it's just an incredible game overall. Huge shout out to them, both for the game and then like how active they've been in the speedrunning community and like helping us both with patching things that are really helpful. Like the demo dash button that I use is now like actually in the game as an option that just makes your dash scope be crouched, which is amazing. I used to use joy to key like to keybind some things in a weird way, but I was just in the game, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, can't wait for what they do next. Earthblade? Is that what it's called?
Earthblade, yes. I think that's the name of their
Can't
next
wait
game.
for that. Anyway, now we're into the huge mess section, and it's a huge mess, so we have to clean it up. Now I've
don't
started.
say.
Sorry?
You don't say.
I do say. So in this section here, we're gonna go into the box section here that we're in, finish this up, and now we're gonna take a D route from the Anderson route. The Anderson route would go all the way up to the book section. We are gonna go to the towel section because of we needing the heart that is gotten from there. And also, whilst getting the heart, you can do a cool little skip that I'm gonna that includes a tricking the game into thinking that we've entered a room from another checkpoint than we actually did. Also, I'm gonna try to do this hyper. I didn't even click the hyper button. I'm gonna do one more time or demo button. There we go.
There we go.
And yeah, so the towel section here. Also, I forgot to explain winged berries that you just saw there. Whenever you dash for the first time in a room with a winged berry, it starts to fly upwards towards the end of the screen, meaning that either you don't dash or you do some cool strats to get them before they go way too far, which is what I did there. Generally, that's faster. So now we're gonna go ahead and backtrack if I can hit that little gap. No? Okay, there we go. The weirdest things are hard in this game as well. It shouldn't be. We're gonna backpick through the section here and go all the way back to the start here and go up to this little secret section. And now we find a heart here. Now, as I mentioned, we're gonna do a weird entry, which is gonna be going back here, and we're gonna refly, and we've teleported. Awesome. So because the game... There you go.
Okay, so yeah, exactly what you were going to say, I think. Because the game does not have a designated spawn point for that particular room, other than the first time you enter it. Like, the game, I guess, doesn't really expect for you to enter from that side, like, ever. So it just kind of places you up at the other spawn point, which is above everything. It allows us to skip talking to Oshiro one time, and some travel time, too. So it saves a bunch of time.
Yep. Really nice. So it's really good in any category that needs the heart. That is also the same. Oh, oops. Same kind of thing that's used for the biggest skip, I think. Bob's drop. I think that's the biggest skip still in 5B and 90%. But yeah. So we're coming up here, the last little section of the elevator shaft. Also forgot to mention that there's Oshiro, who is the hotel manager. I'm sure he's a nice person. I can't see this friendship going wrong at all. A little death strat here, which perfectly lines up with these cycles, which is very helpful because these berries can be quite the pain.
That is a very neat room right there, neat looking room.
And also keys open doors. We should probably explain that. I don't think it's that known of a thing that keys open doors. I think it's
game mechanic.
Really unique mechanic to Celeste, honestly. But yeah, coming up here we're gonna have the Oshiro sort of boss chase. I guess it's more of a chase than a fight, we're not really fighting him. But Oshiro has gotten mad at us, and now we're gonna run away from him. And because this is Resort, everything is on a cycle, including Oshiro's lightning and attacking, meaning that you now have to worry about both the dust bunny cycles in rooms as well as the Oshiro cycles. I did wrong side here. I'm gonna do a very light dash jump that just barely gets over that. Oh, okay, that worked.
Oshiro's just helping you out there.
Yep. You can bop him, which is helpful sometimes, but generally it's better to just avoid him. Because time also slows down when you're near him, so avoiding him is a bit faster. And there's no strats that really require you to bop him in A side. I don't think there's in B either, but there's in C. Alright, coming up on the very last room of Resort here. This is a pretty long room. It's probably the start of the whole last room is pretty long thing. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, okay. I got you collected the berry at least.
Yep. So I can just kind of do that. Yep. Gonna chill a little bit. This room is long.
Some deaths in this game, especially in this category, are very costly, especially if you die with a berry. But thankfully, right there, when they died without the berry. The berry had already collected. But that's the end of chapter 3.
Yeah. All right, bit of a hiccup, but we got there. This run is hard, and there's a lot of tight strats everywhere, and the slightest. Whilst everything is deterministic in terms of there's no RNG in cycles or anything, there's no RNG at all. If you do things slightly differently, they can lead to wildly different results because of how tight some things are. Yeah, Golden Ridge. We have clouds that act as trampolines. This makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. We have these bubbles as well that basically give you an extra dash, essentially.
More or less
they do a little bit more than that, but for the most part, they do just kind of give you an extra dash and serve as an extra dash.
Yeah, and then we have
wind as well.
We should have practiced commentary more.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Wind is really annoying when you're starting out playing this game because it slows you down, obviously. However, the good thing is that when you dash, you're basically not affected by wind. Very, very little just between the dashes. But it means that when you know how to hyperdash and chain them properly, you can fly through a lot of these wind rooms. Yeah, even though there's wind pushing you. Archie.
Archie?
Let's do Archie. Gonna try to do this little screen transition trick here, which is kind of tight. I'm gonna try that again. And there we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is the first seed screen of the run.
Nope. But go ahead anyway. What?
Yeah. So basically, the game wants you to collect the seeds without touching the ground, essentially.
Yep. There are actually some really weird interactions with wind in terms of these seed berries. There are like certain times you can race. This is going well. Brace the edge of like a block, get your dash back, and still have the seed with you. It happens quite a lot in the later chapter where there's a seed and berry, but it's weird. Wind has some really strange effects that we'll hopefully see later if I pull up the tricks that I want to pull up. It's pretty cool. Now we're coming into Shrine, which is definitely the section that differs the most from any percent. Where in any percent, this is like a 30-second section. And here it's probably one of the longest sections, like checkpoints, like in the run, basically. There's just so many like different paths with berries and that you can go through if you need them, which for this category we do. There's also quite a lot of cool and difficult strats everywhere, basically. Some of which I will go for, one of which I will not, which is not this one, but like 2 rooms around. This one is also.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, I didn't even get my dash back. Oh no. There we go.
That one in particular is really tight.
Yeah. It's strange because you like need to hold jump for long enough, but not too long so that you. Yeah, it's fun. But we got through it. In this room here, there is a strat where you can jump off the corners near the spikes at the bottom. No. I think I'm good.
Completely fair.
That also, I should mention that I de-rusted this run specifically for this marathon, so a lot of strats I haven't updated in a while. But hopefully it's still entertaining for everyone. It's entertaining. I'm really happy to be here anyway for such a great cause as well. Here's a really hard strat, which is getting this heart.
Yeah, you have to wall bounce like from the very left edge of that wall and then do a very specific wall kick like that. There we go.
You
so that's a wall bounce plus a wall kick while going away from the wall, which is especially difficult there.
Yeah, you need to like chain them as well, and if you're slightly off, then you either hit the thing, hit the wall, or you just don't. Here I'm also going to do another really hard trick immediately after, which is called a ceiling pop, and that actually worked out first try, which I'm really happy about.
That's really good. That's a 2-frame window to get that, by the way. That dash.
Yeah.
The last dash that goes up.
So it's basically doing like a wall, like a climb jump at the like very lowest pixel. And it's also slightly sub-pixel dependent, I'm pretty sure.
It is, yeah. Like there's a climb jump you have to do into the ceiling to set sub-pixel.
Yeah.
To be correct. And then. Yeah, after that, it's a 2-frame window, but yeah, it is dependent on that sub-pixel.
It's quite wild. One cool thing here before we can do some host things is that in the very next room, I'm gonna stand in some spikes. Because as I mentioned, the wind is kind of weird and I can stand in spikes and collect the berry. Now there's just a couple of longish rooms with not much going on, so Argik, do you have anything do you wanna talk about anything?
Yes, thank you very much. We do have a donation here from Sandshark, a $9.31 donation, who says, thank you to everyone for your support of the Only Marathon, and thanks to all the volunteers and staff for all of their hard work. Here's to 2 more days of speedrunning action. And we literally just got a $20 donation from Iron Cam, who says, let's go, Swesie. And with that, I believe as well, we have just hit $4,500.
Yo, awesome.
That is really, really cool. We are $500 away from 5,000 and bringing Luigi to the party in Paper Mario. So if you want to bring the lovely green bro to the party for Paper Mario, make sure you get your donations coming in for that as well. And we are up to $262.82 for the Ocarina of Time Ice Trap Mayhem. Out of 2,000. We've still got time to hit that one, but if you want to see lots and lots of Ice Trap for Nuclear Reaction and Spike, please do keep your donations coming in.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been such a cool event to see like the absolute outpour of support for everything. And also thanks,
It
Cam.
has been awesome.
Thanks, Cam, for the donation.
Keep the donations coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I messed that up.
Let's
in
see
this
5K.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. This is the cliffside section that introduces snowballs. Once again, cycles. They come out from the right side of the screen on a cycle, and if you get hit by them, you don't live. That is how that works.
That's an awfully extravagant way of saying you die.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have to be creative, okay? I was gonna say something else, now I've forgotten. Oh yeah, the last room. Once again, hopefully, I'm gonna show off that spikes don't make sense in this game. I'm gonna do my best.
That trick they did earlier with the spikes holding
Oh, no.
away. There it is
No.
again. Oh!
No!
Let me get see it again.
There we go.
There it is again. Nice.
Fantastic. Spikes do not make sense in this game. There we go. Perfect. All right.
Good stuff.
I'm surprised I got that part twice in a row. That's weird.
Chapter 4A is complete.
Awesome. Now we come to my absolute favorite chapter, which is 5A. Bring back 5A 90%. So
Hashtag bring back 5A.
yeah, I missed this chapter, and it's honestly the main reason I like this category so much. Is because you get to do 5A, because it has a lot of cool rooms and my favorite sections in the entire run. And
This
it's also
chapter is really cool, yeah.
also a lot of berries. Although one good thing about 5E is the music, which is slapping.
This has always been one of my favorite soundtrack, if not my favorite. There are a couple different ways to do this segment right here, like different routes to take, whatnot. Oh, you see that Swesie went up and to the left first. You can also get that last, or you can get it first. Doesn't really matter. It's up to personal comfort here, but
yeah,
lots of really cool strats here.
Yeah. Also, these introduce the dash blocks here. That whenever I dash, that's great, perfect. Whenever I dash in the room that these are in, they shoot out towards wherever they need to go. Basically, they have this set routes you can see with the little squiggly outlines. Yeah, and also red bubbles that act like the green bubbles from before, just giving you a really long dash. But this one is towards a wall. Like it goes as long as it can, basically, until it hits something, or you dash out of them. What else is in 5A? I think that's about all for now.
Have we mentioned why exactly we take intentional deaths?
I don't think so.
It's faster. Okay, you may continue.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there are a lot of points where the spawn point for the room is basically just like, oh, that was a really cool, coyote time bounce right there. Yeah, a lot of times when the spawn point for the room is just like at the beginning, and the berries at the end, and you got to go back to the other side, and just a death warp is faster.
Yeah, I don't know why I expected a better explanation from you. Yeah.
I mean, you got the quick one, and then you got the more in-depth one.
That's true.
Just in case that one wasn't enough.
Fair enough, Jason. Fair enough.
You know.
Why are you like this?
I don't know.
I'm
trying to find that out.
We can contemplate that a lot. Coming into the depth sections, now everything is going to be very dark. Luckily, I've played this game before and I know where I'm going. Also, there are lights that light up, which is very helpful. But yeah.
I'm glad you played this game, because I'm not sure where to go here.
Yeah. I think you go like right and then left and then somewhere else after that.
And then down the hole.
Exactly.
Maybe go down there. There's nothing down there, Swesie.
It turns
there are
out
no
I was
berries
wrong.
down there.
See, this is why I should have played this game more. Like I would have remembered not to go down there. That's another wingberry strat here. Love these. Essentially. But yeah. I don't know. There's not much. There's just a lot of berry collecting in this chapter. I don't know if you have anything else to add for right now. Otherwise, we can maybe throw it to Art for a little bit. Do you have anything?
You don't get the heart in this chapter, do you?
No,
you've already gotten your...
You've already gotten your... We've gotten our 4 hearts, okay, which is all we need for core. So, now it's just berries. And berries.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're fine. We're fine for actually legitimately commentating for a bit. There's another seed room coming up.
Alright, that's cool. Yeah, Arg, if you have anything else you wanna plug or shout out, then you can use it for a little bit.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I will say your commentary has been very good so far, and I hope you keep it up.
Thanks, I will do my best. I can't speak for Jake.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I suck. my commentary leaves a bit to be desired.
No, it's fine. Anyway, Arg, go ahead.
Well, before we continue the memeing, I do want to say we have a $45 donation from Chef Mayhem, who says, great cause, great streamers need to donate, and put that towards the Ocarina of Time randomizer Ice Trap Mayhem. Thank you very much for your donations. Again, just letting you all know what it is we are doing. We are the Only Marathon. You are watching it presented by the Fast Pace Events team. And we are benefiting the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project are a charity that the Only Kid was very fond of. They are a very good charity. And they are the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for the LGBTQ young people. They do a lot of things as well. They try and work to save lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend their time. They have a 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and soon-to-come integrations with social media platforms. All your donations are going to the Trevor Project. Thank you very much, everybody, for them so far. And we just have one more coming in here as well. Literally 30 seconds ago, $20 from Juice Polydot, who says, thank you so much for putting this show on. Kid was a light in the speedrunning community. They were indeed, and they will never be forgotten. And this is an absolutely fantastic send-off.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
So, you've just seen me transform into what we call a Seeker, which are the main enemy that we're now gonna face off against in these next couple sections. And the Seekers are, as the name might imply, seeking us out. If they see us, they will go for us. But luckily, not only can we use this to our advantage, we can also get them out of our way if needed by bonking them on the head.
Yeah, that spike jump right there is actually not as hard as it might look. It's just holding down and right from the ceiling there.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we have to have the Seekers actually hit these crumbling, or not crumbling, but like these breakable blocks in order to get the strawberries inside of them. Seekers can also hit coins for you. What a good guy.
Very helpful. Not only can they hit them directly, as you see in this next room, also when they... Oh, wow, I actually got that. Okay, I haven't gone on it forever. Never mind that. We'll see in the next room instead. I've not gotten the direct hit there in a while. As you can see here, I didn't hit it with the Seeker, but the explosion that they cause can also hit the coins, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
So for that other room where I got it immediately, even if I don't, the explosion will get it in like 99% of cases. So really good. Now we're coming into the search section, which is also quite different from 20%, because we don't just immediately go and skip the entire thing with search skip, because there are bears we need to get. Also, we need to get one key from here, because there is a berry locked behind behind a lock in the next little section. We need to bring with us the key that I'm about to get here.
Just a little bit of luring the Seeker over there.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, basically it's they're pretty simple to actually lure over.
Surprisingly easy, actually. Especially for how annoying they can be when you first start playing the game. These are also one of the things where like they're 100% deterministic, but if you do slightly different things, they can act wildly differently because of how the AI works, basically. But yeah, in general, it's the same thing each time. Yeah. Sometimes they can act in very strange ways.
This really is a fantastic speed game, honestly, and that's only one of the reasons, because there actually is zero RNG pertinent to the speedrun. In this game, it is, I mean, every bit of RNG is just like visual elements doing what they will, essentially, just for a bit of flair. But yeah, like as far as RNG goes related to the speedrun, there is zero.
Which is just fun, and it's just movement, and it's just a fantastic game overall. If you somehow have missed this, please do yourself a favor and play this game. It's just absolutely fantastic. in every way. Cannot speak enough good things about this game. And we're gonna do another sequel here, and then we're gonna go ahead and meet our friend Theo, who you've totally seen in the entirety of this run because we haven't skipped every cutscene.
Who's this guy?
This is our friend Theo, who has gotten trapped in a crystal, and now we have to carry him all the way to the end of the chapter. And he has some really interesting, annoying properties. But they're also really useful for getting a lot of speed, and sometimes there's, if you want to explain a little bit about it, because I don't actually know exactly how it works.
Yeah, sure. So basically there's a tech that we haven't really talked about called an Ultra Dash, which is when you basically what you do for an Ultra Dash is you do a like an extended hyper dash, and then immediately do another down diagonal dash, which instead of canceling the momentum like a normal dash would, a down diagonal dash will actually chain the momentum and then keep it so that it doesn't end like at the very end of when a dash normally would. So it changed the dash, and if you do that into Theo, you get just a massive boost to speed, which you saw a couple times there.
Yeah, there's actually been pretty good Theo sections. Those are pretty hard as well, because not only do you have to get the Ultra Dash, but a lot of them are like you have to get pretty tight jumps and all that fun things. And also here's a giant eye, and the giant eye is now gone. Why is there a giant eye? Probably some metaphorical reason.
I mean, how else is the temple going to see you?
Good question.
Yeah. Anyway, on to 6A. By the way, shoutouts to you just like doing double bubble skip and like just kind of both like didn't really say anything about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's for those in the know, double bubble skip. I just do it out of spite. No further explanation needed.
It's not faster.
It's slower,
definitely
harder.
Swaggier though.
It's slower, harder, slightly swaggier, and purely something I do out of spite. Anyway,
and it's
chapter 6 reflection.
Yes. All right. So we start off by doing something called lake skip. A couple different ways to do it, but yeah, the object is to wall bounce off of that wall with spikes on it. But how do you do that, you might ask? So basically, the way hitboxes work for collision in this game basically is that Madeline can kick, or in this case, Battling can kick off of walls from at least a few pixels away, whereas the hitboxes themselves on like things that can kill you are rather lenient. So you are able to wall bounce off that wall without dying, even though the wall is basically completely covered in spikes. And you can utilize it there, and that's called lake skip. Saves about 4 seconds.
And here we have our good friend Kevin. So these blocks are called Kevin blocks because of the sound designer that made the sound for these, which is just the best sound ever.
Shoutouts to ODD. Wow, excuse me. Shoutouts to OTDQ. There we go. On Twitch, otherwise known as Kevin.
Wonderful.
Sound designer for Power Up Audio.
Still has my favorite clip from anything about game or sound design, which is just him doing that sound into a bucket of water and then saying, "This is my job." Which is just the best thing.
Yep, exactly.
What else there? Oh, feathers. We haven't explained. So normally in the game you have direction. When you have directional control, it's in 8 directions. But for feathers, you have full 360 motion. Cool technology. And
yeah, so a lot of runners will actually switch to joystick for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have 360 control. You can fly for a bit, and you can also use some of the speed from the feather after the feather actually ends. Sometimes, depending on things. I'm tired. This is great.
You are fine.
This was the hollow section here of reflection coming up to the end. Gonna go into, I forget the name of this section. Is this a reflection section? I know there is a section in reflection called reflection. Say that 3 times fast.
There's a section in reflection called reflection.
Oh, that's good.
I'll only say it one time. But basically, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what the sections of the chapters are called.
Fair enough.
I just remember the rooms. But yeah, so that room in particular is actually pretty hard because it, it requires very, very deep knowledge of the cycles of the bumpers there.
Yeah.
The bumpers are not your friends.
No.
Or they can be, but they normally aren't.
We're gonna do some cool little dev-intended skips, or dev-placed skips rather. And this one's a bit hard.
Like, yeah, the first two you can rub up against the wall to align yourself, but that last one you're on your own, and Swesie pulled it off, no problem. Checkpointless as well.
Yeah. You can take a checkpoint for safety, but low, boring. Also, there's a real water section. Fun fact: this was originally thought to be an entire water level. Thank you so much that they didn't.
Here we go.
And also, Badline boost. Hey,
there's Battle and Boost. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
It's such a good strat.
Yeah,
Probably
so that's
the first really fast strats.
Yeah, that's a hyper and a bunny hop off of the Kevin block to get even more momentum and just bring yourself all the way to the battle and fight. By the way, this is the battle and fight.
Yeah.
We are now fighting ourselves.
This game makes a lot more sense when you're actually battling yourself.
Yes.
Because we're not directly fighting Badline. Anyway, the goal of each of these rooms is to hit Badline a certain number of times until she flies out of the room, and you go to the next one. You just do that over and over again. And there are a couple of interesting things about her. Her attacks are on cycles, so there's two different attacks she does, which is the laser and the balls shooting. The balls in particular are kind of weird because the hitbox of them actually doesn't start appearing until both the balls have escaped from, like, until she has shot out both. Where am I going? Okay. This is fine.
That is fine.
The hitbox isn't active until both the balls are out if she shoots two balls. Meaning that sometimes you can, like, squeeze by one ball, like go through one of them, not get it, which is pretty neat. Alright. Yeah, this section, while it's really cool, is not that much to explain. So, Art, do you have anything else you would like to mention?
We do indeed! We got a $109.69 donation from FSVGM777, and they say, "Hello, this is Stella from Luxembourg. Been enjoying the run so far. What a wonderful event this has been so far. Going for a great cause. Keep it up." And thank you very much. We will indeed keep it up. Remember, folks, all donations are going to the Trevor Project. And just because it was said there, there's a section in Reflection called the Reflection section. There's a section in Reflection called the Reflection section. There's a section in Reflection called the Reflection section. 3 times fast enough, didn't he whiff it?
I'm proud of you, Argic.
Okay, good. Can you do commentary for this next time, Argic?
I need to learn the rest of the run.
Okay. Now, I think just be here for that.
Okay, that's fine.
Basically, your job is equivalent to mine whenever I'm on Sonic 2D Blast commentary. It's just say the line.
Fair. Say the line, Art. Say the line.
Oh, fantastic. This is now getting towards the end of Reflection. Not the section Reflection, but the actual chapter Reflection. Okay, I'm gonna stop that. And here we are finally gonna level up, which is literally what I was gonna say here in a second. Yeah. And now that we leveled up, we have 2 whole dashes.
This is basically an RPG now.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
For a whole 20 seconds, it's an RPG. And yeah, that's the Reflections. Now that we have 2 dashes, gonna make you'd think that 2 dashes would make things easier. No.
Well, it does under most circumstances, but we have to do Summit now.
Yes.
In fact, yeah, we have to do like a 15-minute level in Summit. 15 or anywhere from like 13 to 15. I actually forget how long it takes, but it takes a long time.
For me, hopefully 13 to 15, between that kind of time frame.
Yeah, it is the longest chapter in the main section of the game, at least.
Yes.
So there are 47 berries in Summit, if I recall correctly.
Sounds alright.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now we're gonna do a little demo again. This is the last one. Hopefully I get this first try.
This is cool.
I did not. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a neat setup for that.
Yeah,
that's
so
actually really consistent.
Yeah. What you do is you do a full jump, then dash down, drop a single pixel down, and then you're on the right pixel to just do a straight demo dash to the right. To the right. So it's very neat. But yeah, when we're going through Summit here, you're probably going to recognize quite a lot of things because there's going to be basically a section of each chapter so far. So this first is the reflection chapter because it is at the end of the at the bottom of the mountain rather. And after we're done here, we're going to go to the city section.
Yeah, so story-wise, basically, in Chapter 6, or right before the events of Chapter 6, I guess, Madeline gets knocked down the mountain by her other self. So this is her basically climbing back up. But this time with 2 dashes instead of 1. So, like, everything, whether it actually is different or whether it just feels different to Madeline is something to be interpreted by, you know, each and every individual. However, yeah, you're basically climbing back up the mountain.
Yeah. I haven't even thought about it that way. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't think there's the zipper blocks that are back. I don't even know if we... Oh, I missed that somehow.
I like to think it's the same exact mountain with the same exact levels. It's just the new thought process of Madeline getting this far has changed the outlook of the levels overall.
Okay. Cool thought. So, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
Because the level design is now...
different.
For now, it's different, and it's also very much designed around having 2 dashes. However, because we have speed tech, we can kind of make it as we have 3, because extended hypers are really cool. And it's a very, very difficult chapter, just because of how many strats there are involving optimal usage of now 2 dashes instead of 1. And also it includes 1500, which is coming up in a little bit, which is pain. just pain.
Yeah, 1500 is the resort section, like going back to the resort. It is, and the cycles are back, and they're better than ever. And by better, I mean worse. But not yet, that's the next section. This is 1000.
This is 1000, this is the old side section. Now you're going to see more of hyperdashing out of dream blocks, because that is a thing we can do. I mentioned jumping and double jumping. I think I mentioned hyperdashing, but yeah, we're going to actually see me do it here in just a second.
It was never terribly useful in Chapter 2, but now that we have 2 dashes, so we have another dash to use after the hyperdash out of the block, it is now much more useful and much more relevant.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, good save.
I wanted to collect the berry, I promise. good excuse. Anyway, so far no hypers, but yeah, it's just... Oh, that's not.
That is fun.
Yeah, so you're just gonna maybe see there are quite a lot of berries, and it's very easy to miss, especially in some sections, like just miss them or accidentally die with them, which is painful. Hopefully it shouldn't happen. It did happen. Oh, thankfully I collected a berry.
You're good. You collected it. You're good.
Yep. I just last time I did this run in the marathon, I did lose a berry, which was very sad. So not gonna.
It's not that big of a deal if you lose one, but you know. You generally don't want to. It's just like entering the level again.
That hyper right there is really cool. Hypering like below the dream block is the things you can do with dream blocks are really, really wild and really cool. Now we're coming in to 1500, so let's see how the cycles are. I'm gonna take this very slow. Chill for just a second. And there we go. First room. Great. This was actually the room that I died with the berry last time. Luckily I got the berry this time. So that's good. But this room is pretty difficult on Death Cycle. Here I'm gonna retry both to set up the cycle, which works out really well with Death Cycle, as well as just get me closer to where I need to go. Yeah, I think I mentioned it, but there are different cycles for on entry and on death, and there's, I think, is there one more case where there might be one more case where I reach on purpose, I don't quite remember now. Yeah. Generally, obviously, want to do the end cycles, because retrying if you don't need to is pretty slow. So yeah. I don't know, do you teach 17? What do you want to add about 1500, or do you just want to jam out to the great music?
Well, let's see.
Oh, okay.
This room is really cool. Yeah, this is a room that you almost want to like completely leave and re-enter the room if you miss this track here, because the cycle
can't miss it there, but it's fine. All right,
there we go. I mean, honestly, not really.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the thing about Celeste commentaries. It's really hard to just like commentate on the go because there's just so much happening all the time.
Like I will say that you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Everything. Like, this has been a really fun run to watch and fun run to commentate for, and
yeah, I'm glad to have you.
Very happy to have been here for this.
Also funny because like last time we ever did anything Celeste together was you running and me on commentary, so
yeah,
cool that we're like we changed it now.
I got you back.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, we're coming up here on the end of 1500. I'm gonna take a little safe side there, not get wrecked by the cycles, and now we're coming into probably my favorite section in Summit, which is the 2k meter, which is the ridge section. That's also, once again, a lot of really cool strats, especially towards the end. But yeah, it's a fun chapter. Also, I think we forgot to mention the purple clouds, or pink clouds, I think, whichever color you want to see them as. I think pink. Anyway, whenever you jump off them, they disappear for a while. So you can basically only use them once in majority of cases. In the next room, that was close. Next room, we're gonna do something we call auto-scroller skip, which is skipping the auto-scroller skip, which is skipping the auto-scroller. So by doing precise jumps, landing there, doing a little demo, and then we're good. Pretty strat. Not as hard as it probably looks actually, but it's tight.
That was really fun.
Here is the hardest casual berry in the run. For me. I don't know about you, but I can agree with that. I think that's one of the harder ones. Especially learning that was like, I don't know what speed stretch you would do there. I haven't even bothered to look because that thing is hard enough as it is. It's a really hard part.
That would be probably the first berry in AA.
Oh yeah, well yeah. That's
we'll get to it when we go to it.
Oh no, that's not good. You're fine for me in Discord. I don't know. Anyway, here I'm gonna do from my single favorite strat, which is retry here, set myself up pretty well for a very quick ultra dash between the spikes there to get the berry. It's such a cool strat. I love it.
That is really cool. It's really hard, but really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're once again end of section. Every end of the sections here or every last room of the section is going to be like a battle line room where you have to get to the orb many times to progress to the next big section of the summit. So we're done with that. Now we're coming to 2500, which also has. There's just a lot of cool strats to summit. Like the double dash is really what's it called? What word? It makes a lot of really cool strats possible and doable, and it's really fun. Generally, a really fun chapter to watch because of that. Also makes it really hard to complicate everything.
Yeah, I think I was just gonna say, I think after like a little while, this run really does speak for itself. Yeah. In terms of commentaries, like once you understand, like once you have basically said like most of the movement tech and made it somewhat understandable for people who haven't played the game or who haven't speedrun the game, it's really kind of self-explanatory. Like this, it's use your jump and your dash to go fast. It's that simple of a game. Like it is super simple yet endlessly complex of a video game. So like that's why I like it so much.
If you want a good example, just look at the task after this because it is wild. Let's say this room is also really smooth. One thing that has been happening a lot, which I don't think we've directly touched upon, but it is using moving blocks in order to. Oh, I'm a robot now. That's good. It's going great. Again. All right. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, one thing that's used every time where we haven't really said, that we haven't explicitly said anything about is moving blocks give you a lot of speed when you use them, and it's used so much throughout the run. Basically, whenever they're moving blocks, there's almost always a way to use that to your advantage to build more speed than kind of intended with the use of hyperdashes. Yeah, it's great. It's also, like, not having a speed cap on Madeline is just the best decision that was made, because it makes everything flow so smoothly once you like start to get into it. Like, you don't even have to be super good to make this game flow so well for you. It's fantastic.
So a fun fact, actually, I think this has been tested. Technically, there is a speed cap. It is the speed at which you can go before the game crashes itself. That is the speed cap. In other words, there is no speed cap.
Speed cap is game die.
Yes.
Great. Oh yeah, feel free to count down with the flags. It's a great tradition. I'll be skipping some, so if I see anyone typing the ones I skip, ban them. No, don't actually do that. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure.
Okay, don't actually do that, but yeah.
Runner's request.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine. Oh, I should probably get the berry. But yeah, so the quote-unquote gimmick with 3000 is that there are 3 sections, one of which is this downwind section that just pushes you down a lot, makes you grab a little higher, and then after this there is a upward section which gives you a lot less gravity and makes you float, which also makes deaths in this section really punishing because of how long it'll take, the flags take, because of the floatiness of the wind physics, I guess. I hope that makes sense. I felt like
it did make sense, yeah. Basically, it takes longer to do things, therefore deaths are more punishing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks. But yeah, it's just really... Also, the different flags here serves as checkpoints, so if I die, I go back to the last checkpoint I collected. Meaning that I don't want to skip too many, because that can lead to bad things. The only exception there is like the first checkpoint of each thing is collected automatically.
Yeah, lots of risk-reward factors on this segment because of the flag system.
Yep. And as well because of just how long they are, there's quite a few places where you can like do risky strats and like cut corners, but they do highly increase the risk of you getting hit by spikes, meaning a lot of time loss if you happen to do so. Yeah, we're coming up very soon towards the end of Summit. It is, however, not the end of the run, because as we mentioned, there is also Chapter 8, which I am slightly dreading. Because of a reason that we'll talk about soon. But first we have to finish this.
Basically, there's a really nutty strat to get the first berry of Chapter 8.
Yep. But yeah, we'll touch upon that soon. Oh, I need to... yep, this is fine. There we go. Yeah, last bear here of Summit, so hopefully, if everything has gone to plan, I should have 170 berries after collecting this next one. If I don't, I am very concerned, because I don't think I missed anything.
No, I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Let's find out. And we're good, let's go. Yeah, also what we kind of forgot to mention is this category is called all red berries, because there are berries that aren't red in this game as well. Which are after full game completion deathless runs where you get golden strawberries. And because of them just being doing the chapter but deathless, there's a separate category for that, and this one is just the collectible, more or less the collectible category. Yeah, this is the end of Summit. So we've climbed the mountain. Now that we have climbed the mountain, we can go ahead and explore the core of the mountain.
So right there is where an any % run would end. And once again, we should have 170 berries. We'll check right here in the epilogue, and yep, 170 out of 175. The last 5 are in Chapter 8.
61 deaths so far? I mean, that's not too bad. That's what I expected, honestly. However, let's see how many deaths this is.
Alright, so I guess I'll begin explaining. So one of the mechanics that's introduced in the core is are these blocks. Right. So actually, let me rewind that a little bit. So one of the mechanics introduced in core is the switching back and forth between like fire and ice atmospheres within certain rooms, which you'll find out pretty quickly is a thing. But basically, so when the core is in fire mode, you have these blocks. There's one right there. So you see how it just flung Swesie, right? It just flung Swesie like across the room. You can use the momentum from a block over here all the way on the right side of the screen to get the berry that's on the left side of the screen. And here we go. So this is attempt. All right, we're through. And that is phenomenal. That was ice skip right there. You got it before I could even explain the whole thing. That is ice skip. First try.
I can't do this.
That was actually absurd.
Now I can't get this.
And now we can't get up to shoot.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, I've been dreading that. That trick is ridiculously hard because not only can you overshoot or undershoot with not enough speed, you can also overshoot with too much speed. You can miss the jump, either of the jumps that come like after. What? Now I'm way too startled to do anything else. Great, fantastic.
Yeah, that trick is actually absurdly difficult. Like that's one of the hardest tricks in the game. Never mind this run.
I need to breathe. I can't do this anymore. Great. But yeah, I'm
right up there with hitting that switch. There we go.
Apparently, yeah. All right, there we go. One-shotting bosses, and yeah, thank you. That's basically what that was. You're going terribly now. Okay, there we go. Whew. I was expecting to like not get that very quickly, but it went too good, so now I'm flustered. Here comes my least favorite berry. Even worse than ice skip is the bumper berry room here.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully we should be good. I still have a dash too, so I'm just gonna chill, and there we go. Fantastic. Perfect. That room is really annoying. Just because of bumpers being annoying. There's also like the whole pseudo, like that's basically like pseudo RNG where they can move slightly, which changes you off, and then anytime you do anything slightly different, that also throws up how the bumpers will throw you. There's a lot about that room. Here I'm gonna do a retry because it sets up the cycle really nicely for me. I don't know if this is a global thing, but I do it because it works out really well.
I mean, whatever works.
Yeah. That's also a lot about, especially core, but all red berries in general. If you find a good strat, or like a strat that's not super slow and works for you, just do that one. As mentioned, it's a very punishing and difficult category, so.
And so there's one more berry to get in this room, and it's just a few rooms from now in this vertical section.
Yep. So yeah, the vertical section here is you're gonna get followed by first fire and then ice, depending on the state of the core. Which will, depending on switches, so we're gonna switch it to ice in this very next section. There we go. Doesn't actually change. I think the speed even is the same that the lava goes up at. I don't think it changed anything. It changes the lava blocks to ice blocks and the bumpers into, I don't know what they're called. Death? Lava death?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. There we go. And in this room, I'm gonna do a pretty neat strat where I'm gonna save a dash for the very end. Generally, you would use another dash right here to get up here, but you can do a nice little wall jump. Meaning that at the end here, I'm gonna wait a little bit, do a jump and just dash immediately up instead of going for the last dash crystal. And look at that, I found a berry. It's the last one.
It is. And
now to make sure I collect it, I'm just gonna immediately dash down because I am not risking that. Not this far into the run. Yeah, that is the last berry. Now that the timer ends when we finish the core, which is still about a minute away-ish. Yes, it would kind of be weird to just end it in the middle of a chapter. So.
Yeah, for those of you who are wondering why we don't actually end the run after the last berry, even though the category is called All Red Berries, that I guess they just thought it would be anticlimactic to just get the berry, collect it, and then like return to map. So yeah, you do have to finish 8A, which I think is way more appropriate for an ending.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Personally, yeah. So
although it has this room, which is good. So this is also another one where you get flinged by this, not too high, not too low, and get in there. It's kind of annoying, but there we go. This section has some cool rooms. Yeah, also if you haven't noticed, the ice and lava just go up and down depending on the state of the room again. So coming up here, we have the last, or sorry, not the last room, but the second to last room, which has the cassette tape. And then after that, we're getting the heart, and that will be time in a little bit. So
basically, as soon as the text appears on screen after collecting the heart, that is when the run ends.
What?
Pretty sure. I have never seen this strat.
I don't even know if it's like a known, like a used strat, but I found it, and I'm just okay. It works.
Fair enough.
I think I just sort of remember again. There we go. Yeah. One more room. Now we're finally gonna get our ability to dash back. I don't even think we mentioned it, but in the core you don't get your dash back on ground, except in this room. So, gonna just hopefully fly through here pretty quickly. It's so empty and vast. And time is coming up as soon as the text for this heart comes up. And that is time.
GG's. Great run.
I am okay with that. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about Celeste. Thank you so much for having me for this marathon. And thank you just in general for putting it on. I talked quite a lot with Kid when they were working on the 3D Blast tests, and I was in the community when they were as well. They were always such a blast to talk to, and just so welcoming, and I miss them dearly. It's a great cause that this marathon is for. And I'm really happy to have been able to be a part of it. I was both parts of the games committee, the games committee, as well as now being part of it as a runner. It means a lot to me, and also just the fantastic charity. It's really cool, and I'm really happy to have helped in any way that I can. So, with that, I think I am done for my part. Teach, do you have anything else you want to add, or should we just cut to the intermission?
I have nothing else to add that I haven't said already. But yeah, thank you for taking part in the marathon. Like that was a fun run to be a part of and commentate, and yeah, thanks very much for doing it.
Well, that's all for me. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Still have a lot to go.
Peace. Keep donating, by the way. Keep the donations coming.
They're stealing all my stuff. But yeah, we're going to go to a quick intermission coming up. We're going to set up for our next run, which is going to be Steam World Dig Dude by Carlos Pina.
Oh, that'll be good.